Hey guys, welcome to Showbiz Connect, where you make connections. Hello, hello. This is our Zoom cast number 13. Hello, Bruno, Frank, Fred, Gus, Leonardo, Mark. I have created this Showbiz Connect to help you make connections and learn. So, this is an artistic community of beginners, middle of the road actors, people who want to be in the industry. And this is happening once a month, every second Wednesday of the month. And you can also watch the episode on my vlog, casting vlog on YouTube, or you can just type Showbiz Connect. So we have new guests every show, and today we have our special guest with our theme, stage names. And it's a talent I haven't seen in ages, and she's going to join us directly from Poland. We will also have a draw with one lucky winner. As you know, we always have some cool draws, and most especially, we have our famous breakout rooms a little later to mingle between all of us and make connections. So if you want to act, model, or be a better performer, this is your meeting connection, my showbiz. Diana is an actress, journalist, multilingual news anchor. She started her career in Montreal and wrote her own docudrama to my father, which grew in 2015. She's also recognized for her performances in the Sociopaths Guild and the Extractor. She's going to tell you a little bit about it. And you can now see her hosting on the TVP World live stream YouTube channel in Poland and Central Europe. So let's take a look at Diana in action before we bring her in.
Hello, I'm Diana Skaya, and welcome to Face to Face, our weekly summary of the top events from a Central European perspective. And my guest is TVP World News Director Adam Yasser. Adam, hello.
Welcome, Diana. Let's bring her up. And let's open your mic. Hi.
Hi, Hélène. Wow, it's
I
been
know.
years. I just want to say I am so proud that you were, after this little video that we saw, I'm just so proud to say that you were, Hélène Rousse, my first ever agent when I was 6 or 7 years old in Montreal. You were my first agent under Focus International. That was your agency name. And it's been a long way, and I'm just so happy to be here. And I can only thank you. And hi, everyone.
Yes, this is Diana. I'm so happy to see you. It's been so many years we haven't seen each other. Oh my God, you were so young. As a matter of fact, I did find those pictures. Want to see? So Sierra's gonna put them on screen. You're gonna see how there you go. Isn't she cute? So
That
cute.
was that was my first casting card. Thanks to you. I remember that photo shoot very well because you were there. You were there helping with the hairstyle, the outfits, the photographer. I remember that my first photo shoot in Montreal very well, and I it's
You
got a
remember
flashback.
that young? Really?
I remember that because it was such a memorable experience. And then I remember back then at the time, right? I remember when, you would tell us every time we would go to an audition, we had to carry these casting cards with us, right? And it was like
Yes.
this big, it's something that we don't really see right
Called the
now.
Z cards, the comp cards or the Z cards then.
There you
Yes.
go. So I remember how, and I still have those cards in Montreal. I still have them. So yeah, I do remember that. It was quite memorable.
Yes, you walked in with your mother, if I recall. Uh,
Yeah. And I was 7 years old. Yeah. And I got my first roles with you. I did a couple of auditions and I landed a few roles. Yeah.
yes, you were very young and it was called without my what was it called? Without my
It
father?
was called In the
Against
Presence of
my
Mine Enemies. It was
yes,
with Chad Lowe. Yeah, it was with Chad Lowe, Armin Weller Stahl. Yeah, I remember we had I had training, I had singing training from someone who came from New York to train me in a vocal studio. Then I did a commercial. All this was thanks to you, Ellen. I also remember we would come into Focus International, and I remember see things I still remember. You had this in the bathroom. You had this. not drapes, they call that thing that
Yeah,
you have like in the bathroom, and it was all black and white, and like Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, and I always found that fascinating, and I still remember that today. Your pictures, your everything. I remember everything, and then um you had definitely have been the first person that I have to say you don't remember your first times. You don't forget your first time
right.
in an audition, on screen. You never forget that, you know.
That's true. My God. And from there, where did you go from there? I know you've been traveling everywhere, right?
I've been everywhere, but I guess so. A little bit after acting, I mean, of course, I stayed in Montreal up until university. I went to Concordia. As much as I did film, then I really decided to. You mentioned I worked on the Oitsu film documentaries called "To My Father." It's actually a personal story that I wrote in Polish, Russian, and Ukrainian, and it's a true story that talks about Soviet repressions by Stalin. So it was a historical docudrama piece, actually starring Anthony Porowski, whom we also know is also from Montreal, from Netflix's Queer Eye, right?
Yes.
And we actually went to Cannes with that film,
Wow. We
and
can
we
put the
won a
link
couple
in the
of.
chat for people
Do-
who would be interested. Okay.
I will. And then after that, we just started touring, and we started touring Poland, and I kept giving a whole bunch of interviews. And then I realized, you know what? I want to be the person who's actually asking the questions behind the scenes. So I said, okay, I went back to Montreal. I went back to enroll back again to school in journalism. And then after that, I graduated, and then I started working at Radio Canada.
Mm.
So I worked a little bit with Radio Canada, and I remember they said en français, and they sent me to Winnipeg and to
Okay.
Regina, Saskatchewan. I have to be quite honest, c'était pas pour moi. I didn't, j'ai pas trop aimé ça. And I wanted to be an international correspondent, and that's what I really wanted. My interest was more the Middle East, the South Caucasus. I mean, I am half Armenian, half Polish, so that was my interest. I wanted to be out of the cold, and then I ended up actually getting a job at a newsroom in Tel Aviv, in Israel, who are hiring international journalists and international correspondents. So I stayed there for a while, and then I ended up with TVP. So given the fact, I remember I saw a job posting at TVP. Again, given the fact, so my mom is Polish, and I said, okay, this would be cool, working for Polish television, who had actually co-produced my film years back. I applied for the job. I passed some interviews, and then I remember I was hired. I was still working at I-24 News in Tel Aviv. I got hired by TVP, and then a week later, October 7th happened in Israel. And so that was the start of my war correspondent year.
Wow.
So that, Hélène, it's I remember we spoke about it. Um, it's a little bit about education, a little bit about talent, but also sometimes a little bit about you're in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, I was like, oh yeah, I want to be an international correspondent in Middle East, and in Gaza and all of this, and then it actually happened. And I
Wow.
remember I was with my husband at the time, and I was like, are we doing this? Like, are we staying here? Do we go to Montreal? Do we leave? What's happening? And he was like, at one point he was like, wait a second, but isn't this what you wanted? And I
Hey,
was like,
be
okay, so
careful
again,
what you
nobody's.
want.
Be careful what you wish for. Really,
Yes,
be careful what you wish for.
manifestation. Yes.
Manifestation in a very dangerous way. But all in all, so I did almost a year of covering the war intensely. We were at the border every day. We were covering the war nonstop, and then finally, it was getting a little bit more intense. And then I got offered to become a news anchor and move to Warsaw and get inside the studio. Hence, the video that you showed with my own show that I had called Face to Face. And now I'm living in Warsaw with my family. I'm in the newsroom almost every single day. It's intense because our hours are, we have hours like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. I work in English mainly now as an anchor. Sometimes I still, I do trips. I still do documentaries. Like we went to Armenia in the fall, worked on a documentary. So still putting that together, but it was, all that experience, beginning with the acting and the theater and the journalism school, it all that experience is useful now. I remember certain tips from everywhere I've been. From
Yes.
because of Montreal, I can be probably one of the only ones in Warsaw who can conduct interviews in French as a news anchor, right? So that gives me a priority as well, in Russian as well.
Yes, because you speak
Um,
multiple languages. How many
I
languages do you?
do. I speak English, French, Russian, Armenian, Polish, Spanish, Ukrainian, a little bit of Arabic, and that. But Ellen, that was since we met, and it stayed that way. And my daughter now actually also speaks. She's 5 years old. She speaks 5 languages, and I have to tell you again. I try to every time. I mean, she's just had her second audition about a week ago, and I actually got a message today from her agent, whose name is also Diana, that she got through the first round, and this was in English. So we're living here in Warsaw, but she actually goes to French daycare. I put her into
Wow.
French daycare, so it's a bilingual French Polish daycare. And again, and I always have you in the back. And she found that card, that card
Oh, she
that
did?
casting card. She did. And I said, you know what, Alina, I'm gonna do to you what Hélène Rousse did to me. Really. And
Wow.
that training, and that I also remember the hard times. I mean, if we're talking about everything, I remember when I didn't get the roles, even being, as a child. And I remember the mistakes that I made as a child that I tried to, tell her. And the biggest one was, don't talk too much unless you're spoken to, don't say unnecessary things. Because I
Right.
remember those experiences as well, going through those castings. So yeah, here we are today, and it's been a ride. But again, I really do want to say, Ellen, I mean, I saw that video in the beginning. I'm so proud to say that you were my first agent, and that so many years have passed. We're talking about early 90s, right?
Exactly.
1996, 7. Je me rappelle plus, mais
Yes, I
voilà.
think
And
it was
today we're here.
1997. I believe so. I look at my old books
Yeah,
to find that picture,
yeah,
and it's incredible, from baby to
yeah,
now, I
yeah.
think it's great to show the stretch and what your dreams were and what you've been and where you are now. I think it's incredible to show that. And I thought you'd be such a great host for that, to show what you could do like that. I think it's just fantastic. And I have a
I'm
picture
happy.
actually. Sorry.
I'm scared. What are you gonna show, Hélène? What
Oh,
picture
no,
are
no,
you gonna
those
show?
pictures that maybe you can tell us. Sierra's going to show some pictures of you in the films that you were part of. If you want to talk
Yeah,
about it a little bit.
sure.
What is this one, for example?
This was an indie film shot in Montreal. I believe that's isn't that that's Santino, right? On the left, if I remember correctly. And that's Eddie Cara on the right. I think this was Depressed. Yeah, it was an indie film production that I agreed to take part of. And that was also at a time when I wasn't working as an actor a lot. And it's interesting that you show that, because it was all, sometimes actors back then get maybe frustrated that they don't get the roles or they don't get auditions. But it's also, there's many I found that many, student films that take place and that happen, and every single production is always an experience. So if you get that audition, you do it, whether, I understand you want to get paid and you want to get the money, but sometimes, you do it to have also a demo, and you have something to present, right? And having that is better than having nothing. And it kept you going with the experience and being on set, and just knowing how a film set works, right?
Yes,
Until you develop,
experience.
what you experience. And that also leads to, of course, being able to present yourself, on camera. And again, those things also help me today, even as a news anchor, where now you're surrounded. And it's very different, because when you're acting, you can redo a scene, 12 times, 20 times if the director wants it.
Yes.
I do live television 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times we don't have room for mistakes, unfortunately. And when we do, it gets back on us. I mean, we're doing news, and most of the time breaking news, and most of the time negative news, right? So we don't really have room for mistakes. And when we make them, it's not great. But again, that training in front of the camera really helps us. We have the breathing techniques, we have the exercises, we know how to present ourselves in front of the camera, we know how to hold ourselves, right? How to keep ourselves together in different scenarios, and particularly how to interview. I mean, in my job right now, interviewing guests is also a tactic, right? Depending, you read your guest. I mean, here you're interviewing me now, right? But you read your guest. Sometimes we know absolutely nothing about. You're sitting down with them. You have the first 20 seconds to understand right away how this interview will go,
That's
right?
right. That's
And
right.
that's a little bit of acting helps. Definitely helped in that. So,
Everything helps. Every little bit, every experience. I mean, it's unbelievable. And we
and
have also
also, you
another.
never know who you're going to meet on that set, right? The cameraman could be. I remember in journalism school in Montreal, they always tell me the cameraman is your best friend. You don't know who that cameraman knows, right? Is it another actor? Is it another producer who's looking for, let's say, I don't know, a child for another scene, or like looking for someone for a particular scene that's a brunette or a blonde? You never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to network with, and it will happen so randomly.
Yeah, I say that all the time. You never know. Always be nice to the people on your way up because you could meet them on your way
Tu sais
down.
jamais.
Meet them again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We have a second picture I want to show, please.
Oh my God, you're making me really go back through time here.
What's that?
This is the same. I think this is the same film, just different scenes, or
Okay.
part two. Yeah, this is the same film, but part two. The one on the left, I don't recall the one on the left. That isn't me though, Hélène. I gosh, that's not me.
I don't know.
On the
Sarah
right, that
found
is
Diana
me.
said, oh, it looks like Diana.
No, that wasn't me. Yeah, it looks like the person is, probably killing someone on the right though. It was the same film, but in a different scene. A very, very different scene. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm so happy to see you. That's wonderful. And some people did not know I was an agent before, 25 years ago, and I was an agent for like 12 years. So I used to change names of people, and I think that when you walked in, I mean, you walked in with your mother, and also we had to fit the com card, right? So you want to give your full name to the people?
No, I just want to say that the name that you gave me, that I refuse to do, but the name that you gave me, and look at this, it has stayed with me until today,
But I
right?
saw you shorten it, so it's Diana Skaya, but you shortened it
No,
lately. I saw
no, no.
somewhere, I think it was on YouTube, on your
Oh,
YouTube channel, or
no, no, no. That's probably somewhere on
oh, I
Facebook
think
or
it's
something.
Facebook. It
I
says,
just no, but I just put like initials, and I didn't put like a name, just out of like choice. But that was, that's like putting like initials or putting like a random name. But even look at
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
my name, my like a pen name, that you use on screen and everywhere. And again, that's all thanks to Hélène Rousse. You
I used
know,
to modify names all the time because, especially Greek person, also they have a really long name in
like
general.
Kostapopoulos or something.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. It's really long.
yeah.
But and then no, I just saw because you put Diana Sky.
Yeah, it's the Sky. I just put, Sky. But no, I haven't changed that. That's just, I guess I
Just
just
like
put
that.
it there
Perfect.
sometimes because,
Okay.
you don't want, yeah, like you don't want, everybody finding you or whatnot. I'll just put Sky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But you have a beautiful name, and I'm glad that I was part of that. And this is great because the truth is that in the industry, sometimes you don't have a choice. If another talent has their name in the union before you, have an obligation to modify your name, right? So we're gonna get to
That's
questions. Yeah, I think
interesting.
we're gonna have some questions also. Um, I'm just gonna go after. But yeah, your name is really important for everybody. But the thing is, it's just like your signature, right? You have to have the right good signature. And sometimes a name could be too hard to pronounce, or it's too long, or whatever. You don't want people to trip on a name, or they have a hard time reading it. So sometimes just stage name can help. It has to follow you, right? And I actually have a trivia for the people attending right now. If some people would like to try. And then we can see if we can have the most best answer. We'll have a winner. You want to try?
Let's do it.
So I'm going to say a name and just try to find out who that person is. So if I say Karen Elaine Johnson, does anyone know who that is?
Or Google it.
So it's Whoopi Goldberg.
Wow.
Cool, huh? Okay, I'm gonna try another one. Margaret Mary Emily Hira is Meg Ryan.
Short and sweet for a film. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Cher or like all those names and stuff like that. But I
Sherilyn
have
Sarkisian-Lapierre. Yeah.
ooh, so what about oh, Eric Marlon Bishop? Who is that? Anybody knows who that is? Crazy, yeah. Jamie Foxx. Isn't that cool? What a great name, Jamie Foxx. But his name is like three, four names. And we have that also in Montreal. People have four names, five, six names, Marie Antoinette Gérald Tremblay, whatever, right? So it's very hard to remember. It's not catchy. It doesn't mean that you're losing your name or anything like that. But if it can help to shorten it, and sometimes it's too English or too French, and I'm looking at names sometimes. Oh, I don't think he really can have the accent because I think he's too French. His English might not be. You know what I mean? Like we do make judgment on names when we do castings. It's weird. I'll give you another one. Uh, Michael John Douglas. And who is that?
Michael Douglas?
It's Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Okay.
Because the Michael Douglas was already taken with the union at SAG, so he had to modify his name. You're not allowed to have the same name in the union, especially for checks for this and that. So it's the same thing with the union here, UDA or ACTRA. You can't have the same name, or you have a letter in between, Michael J. Johnson or something like that, right? Could be. I have another one. Let's see, Natanya Herschlag. It's Natalie Portman. Crazy, crazy. Julianne Smith was Julianne Moore. So, but the most of all, maybe some of you know, it's Stefani Germanotta.
Lady Gaga.
Bravo! Lady Gaga, very
Gaga.
good. Well, you get the point. You're the winner. I mean, right? Is there, Sierra was saying that there was a question. Is that it, Sierra? So, um, is there a side app that can make finding audition easier? Is Vincent, is he still here? Okay, so we'll send it to him now. Let me see, he's still here. No, you have to go. Yeah, some people come at lunchtime. This is a great time for lunch, but and that's okay too. And me, I'm going here because I'm looking at some stuff. So, sorry about that. Oh, and are you now that you're working so much in what you are right now, you have other projects on the side for production or other things that are coming up for you?
That's one thing that's very unfortunate when you're bound to a contract in media. On screen, particularly as a news anchor or correspondent, what I'm allowed to do on the side becomes very, very minimal. So unfortunately, I can't take on roles like, for instance, I can't, there was a casting agent that came to me and said, hey, we're looking for some English speaking. Unfortunately, I can't do it. I can't do that because of conflict of interest with TVP, with Polish television. We can't work with a competitor. Can't do commercials. Imagine the commercial is going to be played by the competing channel. Or like it's like if you work for CBC and then the commercial for Tylenol is going to be playing on CTV. So unfortunately, I can't do that. But what's good about where I work and at my channel is that And it functions a little bit differently than in Canada because we can do so many things. So I'm a news anchor, but also because I've gotten into so much into documentaries, into les reportages, right? And the human aspects, we get to travel, we get to tell those stories, we get to film them, and we get to put it together. So it balances out the fact that, you can't do other things, but again, related to our job. I mean, we're sent to host panels, big conferences. There was the Warsaw Security Forum that takes place every September, October. It's a huge conference, huge diplomatic conference, right? Attended by prime ministers and presidents. Security conference in Europe. So I either host them, I host certain panels, I interview big names, and that also, that also helps. But unfortunately, to take on acting gigs and stuff on the side, I can't do
Yeah,
that.
I can definitely see that. It's that's a normal thing to do. Yes, I do understand that. But if you interviewed so many people, who was the person that you enjoyed the most interviewing and why?
I've interviewed many people. I think for um particular in this specific job at TVP World, there's two, it's really two different types of interviews. You're either interviewing regular people that have human stories to tell, so those, survivors of certain things, or war survivors or not, or the big names, right, who are making, the lawmakers, or those who make on the big decisions. But I think for me, uh, I would say it would be interviewing those who had made a difference in the South Caucasus. I mean, again, I am Armenian, so for me, it was a big deal when this year. And this is actually another interesting thing I could tell you. I've been wanting to interview the Armenians, or members of the Armenian government, since last year. Unfortunately, they rejected it last year at the conference. They refused to talk to me. They didn't want to do an interview. I said, okay, we tried again this year, and I made the interview this year. But this is how that happened. And I would say it would have to be the foreign minister of, a country that means a lot to me, and that's taking shape into becoming a completely different South Caucasus than the one that I grew up in. And actually, how I got that interview was I was flying to Armenia in September, just for vacation, and I was flying to Armenia, and I bumped into the foreign minister at the airport. And I had an instant decision. And again, this is about, again, I would say a little bit of acting training and a little bit of right? Acting courses also give you confidence, right?
Mm.
And they give you confidence. I had 2 or 3 minutes to make a decision. Do I go up to this person,
Mm.
surrounded by his bodyguards and whatnot, or
Wow.
do I forget about it? And you know what? With my 5-year-old kid, I decided to run after him. I was off a show. I was off filming Face to Face. An hour later, I was at the airport flying it. And you know what? And I cornered him, and I said, "Hi, foreign minister. I'm sure you probably don't remember me. I've been trying to run after you for a year, and this
Wow.
has to be coincidence. And I'm going to give you my card. You always want to carry a business card. Again, you never know who you're going to meet. We're talking about the airport at like 8, 9 p.m. Give my business card, and I said, I know you're going to be at the Warsaw Security Forum in 2 weeks. How do you know? Well, we work at national television. We know that you're going to be there, and I really want this interview. And you know what, Hélène? I did the interview 2 weeks later.
Oh my God.
You run, you network, you give your card, you push for it. You really want it, you push for it. And it's the same thing, I think, in a role, right? I remember also, like, being on set told a lot, even when you're an extra, be careful, don't talk to this person, don't talk to that person, don't touch this, don't touch that. I really think we live in a time where, I mean, probably know more than me, right? Particularly when it comes to that sector. But I really feel like if you do network and you do make those connections, talking to that AD or the second AD, or even getting them a producer, you find things in common, doors are going to start opening up for you.
Absolutely.
compared to the person who's going to be there and say, like, okay, we're not going to talk to you. I'm going to sit there in a little corner, action cut and go home and get my paycheck. If you do a little bit more to stand out, I think down the road you are bound to get something out of it,
Yes.
whether you want to be an actor or on screen. But again, it's a lot of it's a lot of hard work. It definitely is a lot of hard work. I mean, I started with you at 7 to get to the point I am today. Really, I'm like, honestly, I'm 38 right now. So we're talking about years of experience and maneuvering and just really working for it to be where you want to be.
Mm-hmm. And you made it happen. You had a vision. And I wanted to
Vision is
ask,
important.
is your mom still around?
My mom is in Montreal.
She's not logged
And
in. I
I'm going to
want her
send
to
her
say
this
hi.
video. My mom is in Montreal. Yeah, she's in Montreal. She's in Montreal. She remembers. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna send her this link. I will. I definitely will.
Yes, we should have a copy by Friday. We'll be able to send it to you. It'll be on YouTube. It's going to be on Apple Podcast, also for the audio and Spotify as well.
Ça c'est
So
super.
people will be able
Super.
to listen to their cars, and it's not always easy to listen during the lunchtime. What time is it for you over there?
It's 7:42 p.m.
Wow.
It's already been a good 12 hours for me. I had to wake up at 5 a.m., be at work for 6 a.m., be on air at 8:30 every hour,
Every day.
prepare news. Well, we have a schedule, right? We have a schedule, but this week I've been on every single day. Tomorrow morning, same thing. And then Friday, I go back at night, Friday night. Different shifts, whether it's news, whether it's interviews. Sometimes we work weekends. But what's good about that is that I can actually take Alina with me.
Wow.
So I can take her with me sometimes, and she's used to the camera, and
No kidding.
she knows. But I really, Ellen, I really hope you do believe me. A lot of those things again, but it was actually my mom's sister who I believe what happened was that, if we're going, sorry that I'm jumping back to this, there was an ad in the Gazette. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the Gazette? It was some Montreal newspaper. It was a Montreal newspaper where you were advertising Focus International.
Maybe
Because
Montreal
my
Mirror.
aunt, maybe,
At
it's
the
very
time,
possible.
it was still alive, the Montreal Mirror. It's possible because there was no internet.
There was no internet, exactly. And she saw the ad, and then my aunt, who was also an artist, told my mom, and we have to, take her to this is Focus International, and
She's
that's when
too
we went,
nice.
and
She's
that's
too
how.
cute, and she has blue eyes.
And we have to, I guess it was more, I think if it was my mom alone, she probably wouldn't have done it, but it was because my aunt was an artist, right? She was a singer, she was a gypsy singer, and she was into this whole world of art, and she really, pushed for it. And that's it. And that's how it happened. She was there with me coming into my auditions, in the presence of my enemies. She was helping me with the music, with the singing. She was a singer, right? She was helping me prepare for those roles. And we're talking about, an immigrant family who moved from the USSR in the 70s to Canada,
Wow.
who who, I mean, of course they spoke English and not, but who didn't really know the system or understand the system, but they did everything for it to happen, right? So again, so I see people, uh for instance, there's somebody at work. She's Ukrainian. I'll give you an example. There's a little bit of a language barrier. Oh, I'm not allowed to do this and I can't do that. I said, it doesn't matter. You're working there. One day it's going to happen and you'll improve with that hard work, and it's going to get you somewhere. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. But
Wow. That's amazing. And your aunt is still alive to this day?
no, my aunt was the one that was featured in Oitsu, Into My Father, in that film. If you saw the
Wow.
trailer on YouTube, she's the one, and I put her in that film. It was a poem that she wrote that I decided to film, and she passed away in Montreal 4 years ago.
Wow.
So really, it was everything was really, for me, it was her. Like, she was, I named my daughter after her, to the point, she was like my biggest artistic, queen for me, that pushed me into this whole world of
That's
movies and
fantastic.
theater. And
So what's the name of your daughter?
Alina.
Alina?
Alina.
Very beautiful, beautiful. We also gonna
Alina.
put your links, Sarah. Let's put the IMDb and all the links
Let
for
me put
Diana.
in, let me put in,
No, we're gonna
I
put
can
it.
put it, let me
We
put
have
them
the
in.
IMDb. We have all your links. We're gonna put them in right now.
The film, I was thinking about the film.
We put the film. Did we put the film? Yeah, we did just a bit earlier.
Ah, okay, okay, okay,
We're
okay.
organized.
Yeah, I see that.
I mean,
I
you're the
see that.
pro at hosting, but I mean, you know,
But yeah, but that comes from experience. But hold on, let's see. Just one quick second.
ah, we have a surprise coming.
Viens, viens, Alina, viens,
Oh,
viens,
man,
viens.
we have a special.
You have a special guest, and I
Then,
think she can tell you what a casting is. Come, Alina, come. Viens ici.
yes. And then in 30
Viens ici.
years, we'll interview her.
Hélène was my first agent.
Hello, Alina.
Say hi.
Hi, sweetheart. Oh, you have beautiful hair. Look at
Thank
you.
you.
Wow.
She was my first agent. She doesn't look like me, does she? Mini Diana, Hélène. This is how I look like when I came to you.
Yes, pretty
I
much.
was like
Oh my
almost
God.
this was me when I came to you, and now
Spitting image.
this is
Wow.
me.
So glad to meet you. I hear you're
Alina,
very good on camera.
did you do an audition on the weekend? Did you do a casting?
Yes.
And what was your role?
Uh,
Annie.
Annie.
And what do you do in an audition? Do you look at the camera or do you not look at the camera?
No,
No, what?
we don't look into the camera.
You don't look at the camera. And where do you look when you do an audition? You take your role and then you do your lines, right?
Uh-huh.
And then what's it called when you have to say, hi, my name is Alina Medro, I'm 5 years old. What's that called? A slate?
Slate.
A slate.
Bravo. Et tu parles français aussi, Alina?
Oui.
Ah, bravo.
Et
Moi
tu parles quelle autre
aussi.
langue, Alina? Quelle autre langue tu parles, Alina? Avec papa, tu parles quelle langue?
Moi, j'ai oublié.
Tu as oublié? Avec papa, tu parles quelle langue? Tu as oublié à quelle langue tu parles avec papa?
Oui.
In, Ra,
Shen.
and with mommy, what language do you speak?
Russian. Wow.
R,
Million.
and at school, you
Arménien.
speak en franc
C and Polonais.
and en polonais.
My
Remember
goodness.
that? Remember that picture, Diana Skaya, when I was a little girl, and I had that little bow in my hair?
No.
That little one, I'll show you. Remember the card there that I had when I was a little
We're
model?
going to show you again.
Look,
Right.
you're gonna
This
remember
one.
this one?
Wow.
You know who did these pictures?
No.
Hélène did these pictures. My agent made me do these pictures. That was me.
And how old are you, Alina, right now?
5.
5. You're almost the same age she was. Yes.
So guess what? When we go to Montreal, we're gonna go say hi to Hélène, and maybe you can do
Yes.
like a casting with Hélène. Yeah,
Yes. And your grandmother.
yeah.
The
And then
whole
where do
team.
you go on Saturdays? Do you go to acting school?
Yes.
Yes, she goes to acting school already.
Wow.
Le
I'm
samedi.
so proud of the two of you. That is
Touche pas parce que tu vas.
fantastic. Wow. We're gonna open the microphone to everybody if they want to ask any
Kalina, bye.
questions or say
Bye. Dis
hello
bye
to
tout le monde.
Diana. Bye,
Dis bye.
Alina. See you soon.
Ferme la porte, s'il te plaît. Ferme, ferme, ferme. Ferme, Alina.
All right. Oh, les charmants. So sweet.
Merci.
Oh, thank you for that. That was really sweet. Listen, it's
Yeah.
full circle. It's incredible. Wow, I love that. That's fantastic. So if anybody wants to ask a question or make a comment, you are welcome. We're opening the floor. So anyone?
I have a question. Yeah. So thank you, Diana, for being here with us today and taking some time out of your very, very busy schedule. I wanted you to talk a little bit more, if you could, about why it is so important to have a stage name. And Hélène touched on this a little bit because people tend to be judgmental about your name when they see it or hear it and that sort of thing. Our filters come in and we work with that. So can you elaborate a little bit on this topic?
Sure. In this case, so let's be honest. When you come from, outside Canada or the United States, I mean, it works a little bit different here in Europe because, nobody's going to change a name and they will keep it as it is. But in Canada and the US, it's very, very different. And they always say the shorter, the catchier, the sweeter, the punchier. But again, the name that Hélène gave me, I have kept until present day, and I will always keep it this way for me. It becomes part of your identity and who you connect with. And I even remember at one point, Hélène asked me, "Do you like it? And do you work with it?" I was 5 years old. I was my daughter's age. I was like, "Yeah, I like it." As a child also, we didn't like these long, again, immigrant, I'm not saying it's an insult, but the long names, and you feel like exactly what you just said, Frank, right?
Mhm.
You're going to be judged, whether it's at school and where are you from and whatnot. And now I'll give you another example. Right now, next door we have a war in Ukraine, right? And right now, I can guarantee you this. Some of the people I know who have Russian, or at least that sound Russian as last names, they are going to get criticized. Or Israelis who have, they're Jewish, they're also going to get criticized, right? Because of war, because of all these different factors. But sometimes, that name is in essence. Ellen named so many different celebrities that have changed names, and the list goes on and on and on. Like Antonio Banderas, Winona Ryder, Penelope Cruz, Salma, Madonna. All these people have changed names, and it sticks with you. But it also becomes part of your identity. And it's something also that, casting directors, particularly, the judgment is real. I have to be very honest, the judgment is real. I'll tell you this, for instance, I don't know, maybe, I mean, okay, you have Frank Catalano. It's a relative, it's a pretty name. It's Italian, it's a
An
nice
art.
sounding name. But when we have, from specific, I don't know, from specific, let's say, Eastern countries, names, the judgment's going to happen. And what if you have a casting director that, I don't know, for instance, doesn't like a certain, not doesn't like, or had a negative experience with a certain, country or a certain nationality, a certain ethnicity, a certain person, that becomes unfortunately a bias that you want to avoid. And I'll be honest with you, today, when I have when I do interviews, and there's so many comments that go on YouTube and whatnot. And the interesting is about it is that, so I did mention, this is important to say, I am Armenian. I don't have an Armenian last name, but to me, sometimes it's played in my advantage as well, because I can, do those interviews with certain people that, I don't have to disclose my identity, or they won't know, who I am. But again, it's something, I'm sure that you can find something, a name that resonates with you and that you will keep. For me, I've kept my name. It's become part of who I am, and I won't let it go. That's for sure. But all it is, you have those long names, like Helen mentioned, like Stamatopoulos, or Konstantinopoulos. Nobody has time to write that in listen, it's sad, but it's the harsh reality of it. Like, so it becomes, I don't know, Stefan, imagine if it's Stefanos Konstantinopoulos, right? Hey, it's Stefano Costas, or Stefano,
Poulos,
Constan,
Steph
right?
Poulos.
Steph Poulos, but not Steph Constantine. Nobody has time
It's
for that.
very
And it
hard to
becomes, it's also, it's
remember
not,
that. You can't remember it
you
either.
want people to remember you, right?
Like
You want the
Prince.
names, but you want to be remembered also. And um and there's no, again, those long names, I mean, if we don't have a problem or an issue pronouncing them, many people do. Like the average Canadian or French Canadian or American will not be able to pronounce, a Russian, Ukrainian, Polish that has a lot of, Szczurowska, Stovska. They will not be able to pronounce that.
Or
If
even
ever, if I
Asian.
may be permitted a follow-up question, if ever a casting director or a producer or a director of a program or a project you're working on, if ever they asked you, uh, is 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 Diana Skaya your real name or is it a stage name? Uh, how would you address that question?
Well, there's two things to that. First of all, the reality is that stage name and real name, when you're talking about the bucks and the check, the name that appears on your papers and on your records, at
Mhm.
least in the bank statements and the bank records, that's the name that has to be given to production, correct, Hélène?
Yeah,
Because how are
the
they
real
going to pay
name.
someone your real name? Because how are they going to pay someone that,
Yes.
I mean, the bank is not going to accept it,
Yeah, if
right?
it's written only Rihanna, it's they're not going to cash it.
They won't cash it. The one thing that you can do is add the name legally, change the name legally, add it, and then they say, okay, well, we can take it. And I know because I experienced this. They will tell you, well, if it's a last name, at least one of the last names that appear on your records, like on your, your passport and your ID, has to appear on that piece of ID for us to be able to accept it. So
Okay.
in this case, for example, if you want to be Frank Catal and you don't want to be Frank or Francesco, you want to be Frank Catalano, but in your papers it's Francesco Catalano. So you either maybe add the Francesco Frank,
Mhm.
Catalano Frank for them to be able to accept it, because otherwise it just won't work.
So you would reveal to that director, to that
But
producer.
you have no choice. You don't really have a choice
Yeah,
Okay.
because, right, Hélène? Because
yeah,
you don't have a choice, because when you get paid and you're writing, you're signing a contract, you're bound by it. You have to write it and you have to mention it
yeah. In some
because
contracts, it's written, I don't know, Frank Cal, AKA Frank Cal, or vice versa. But
Mhm.
sometimes you put the name in parentheses for different contracts, so they know that it's, I don't know, Joseph Kawa in AKA Prince, or something
Thank
like that.
you. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Hélène.
my pleasure. Happy to be here. But you have quite a nice name, Frank Catalano. I like it.
Okay, thank you. Thank
I
you.
like it.
Yes, names are so important. It's really your identity for your
They
entire
stick with
life.
you.
Yeah.
What do you think about my name, Diana? Mark Saint Marie.
Max and Marie. I think you're French Canadian.
Yes.
There you go. But you
Is,
already
is
have a
it
short name.
is it
You
is
don't.
it too long or?
If if
Personally,
if I wanted to change, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's long, but I think Hélène knows better. Max and Marie for me is not a long name.
It's not long, but if somebody wanted to check out, like, I'm pretty good with names, but you could be Mark Saint.
Mark
Not
Saint.
Saint personally, but yeah.
I don't know, but I mean Saint, you know, it could be something like
Could be
that. It
like
doesn't have
Mark
to be English,
Marius or,
but
you know.
then people will not be sure if you're English or French Quebecois. You know what I mean? It's that little
But that's
nuance.
another thing. You want to grab the curiosity of those casting directors and of the producer, and also you want to grab their curiosity. Like, people see me, Dana Skaya, and they ask themselves, okay, who is she? Like, why is this girl speaking French? How is she speaking Russian? How is she speaking Armenian? Like, they don't understand. And sometimes it's interesting because you avoid the judgment, and instead what you create is curiosity of these people who are at the top, who the gig that you want is in these people's hands,
Mhm.
and they're like, let me, find, like, who are you? Like, Max and Marie for me is, I know you're French, right? French Canadian or French roots or whatnot. But if, like Hélène said, you're Saint or Mark, Santo or Saint, or Mark Mary, Mark Saint, you're not sure. Is it French?
Right.
Is it Irish? Is it Scottish? Is it, German? We don't know. and people want to know.
Yeah, people want to know. This is true.
There
Yes.
is
People want to
also
know.
the fact that some actors will use a French name and an English name with their agent, depending of the auditions they're going for, or they are submitted in French, they will use the resume with a French name. And then for all the English productions, they use their English name, exactly not to have that judgment with the name that says, oh no, he's too French. He probably has an accent type of thing, right? It's that kind of judgment that people get. Or maybe they'll have an Italian accent. Or maybe it's Jing Jing, with the Asian, with the X. I mean, how do you pronounce the X-I-G?
Is it Z, is it G?
And yeah,
Another thing I have to say, because again, I've been through this entire process. I know that in Quebec, and if anyone wants to correct me if I'm wrong, for those of you who are in Quebec, it is very difficult to actually change your name. It is a very difficult process. I've tried doing it. I've been through the process. I know even in Quebec, even when you get married, they don't allow you, Quebec doesn't allow you to change your last name, but they allow you to add your spouse's last name, but not to fully, you can't take off the Rousse and become Hélène Carter. It would have to be Hélène Rousse Carter. You can't just drop. Whereas in Ontario, you don't have this problem. You don't have this issue. So even when a child is born in Quebec, I mean, they send you, when you're filling out the birth certificate, they tell you these are your two or four options of what your kid's family name is going to be or can be. So again, you're also limited, because imagine that you're not happy with your family name and your significant other, whoever, is not happy with it. You don't even have the possibility of being able to change that and give that, say, I don't know, Destin as a family name to that. Whereas in Ontario, you can. And I know
It's,
this for a fact. I
you're
know this for a
simple
absolutely
fact.
correct.
process.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Here
correct. To be
in Europe, it's a very simple process. You go, you ask for a name change, you fill up the documents. Yeah, it takes a little while, but it's doable. Like you can do the process. In Quebec, for some odd reason, it's forbidden, and unless you have a name. I remember I was reading the documents. Unless you have a name that's considered extremely judgmental, and like I don't know right now, like oignon or onion, something that's really made fun
Right.
of. I can't think at the top of my head right now. Garbage or something like this,
Yeah.
poubelle, then they will allow you to do it. But aside from that, it is extremely complicated to
I
do that
know
in Quebec.
somebody who changed their name. Their name was John Shit, and he finally got his name changed for Steve Shit. Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
that was a little joke, not joke. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
But
want to say that thank you, Hélène, for having Diana on the show. It's just really neat to see all these. Like, it's kind of like you brought her up from very young age, all and just how she kept the name. This is just really interesting stories that just kind of I happen upon, and I just really appreciate that you've done all this for for everybody. And and this is free, by the way. This show. You just, you get the link, you come in, and
And you just
where else
listen
can you
and
get this? Where you can't get this kind of
I'm
knowledge, or
amazed.
you can't, people would pay for this. It's like, I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm gonna log in and then check this out because this is cool.
yes, I don't have a
And Ellen
sponsor
has
yet, but
always been there to, even I also remember coming in a few times to record a voice demo at
yeah,
Helen's studio at Total Casting. And Helen was just always, always open to, be allowed to use her studio to have that little demo. And I remember it's just like you said, Fred, right? Fred Manfredi. Uh, and I think that's the beauty of it. And I mean, I can't speak about other agents. I can't speak about other casting directors, but Helen, really, I think it's a beautiful process. Ellen, you are the person that, I met Hélène probably a year after I moved to Canada. So Hélène, you really kind of, she like worked on me to at least in my childhood to get me to a certain level before. I also think, I'll give you an example that, again, I came with parents that had absolutely no experience in the Canadian acting industry.
in the film industry, you know, if you want to get a role, you had to work for it, go to acting school, go to theater school, go to workshops. You know, I had a family that was artistic but didn't. Again, it came from a family that, you know, that had just moved, right? So that's why I'm doing things a little bit differently now that I have that experience with my daughter, right? I mean, I want her to be out there. I want her to audition, and so I'm starting it also young. You know, she goes to dance class, she goes to acting school, she does the languages, she uh where she'll develop, I can't, you know, that's not going to be my ultimate decision. But I know if you work not only on yourself, but of course, you know, if you have kids, if you want them to be able to do that, it's also a job. You invest in them and you invest in it properly. I mean, I remember for an audition about a month ago, I worked with her all Saturday, coaching her on how to do this role. If I saw that she wouldn't be able to do it, I know, Hélène, you know, kids are not allowed to work more than 4 hours, you know, a day, but, you know, I grilled her, and it worked because a month ago she took 8 hours to have a self tape, and then last Saturday we did it in about an hour. So and that's the beauty, and again, a lot of those little steps do come from Hélène Rousse, and I'm telling you, yes, I do remember Focus International, downtown Montreal, upstairs. I remember, you know, I told you, the black and white shower curtain with Marilyn Monroe in the film, and all the pictures, the casting pictures of your actors. I remember all of it, all of it.
It's quite the memory, that's for sure. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. Um, I wanted to actually, I have a poster still of Focus International here. It's on my wall. Can't really show you now,
I
but
should probably make you sign one for me and keep it. Yeah.
Yeah, can I say something, Hélène?
yes, please, Gus, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
just wanted to
We'll bring
thank
you up
Diana. It
on
was
stage.
very
One
interesting hearing
second.
your story. Really interesting story. Very impressive what you've done. I mean, I can't believe you speak 8 languages. I'm struggling,
Thanks.
I'm struggling to learn Spanish now. But
I'm guessing you're Greek, Gus Stevens?
no, no, no. Actually, my parents are from a country just south of Poland, Hungary.
Really?
Yeah.
We focused on Hungary a lot today on the news with
Oh
Victor
yeah,
Orban.
good in a good way or a bad way.
Good and bad. We
He's
focused on Hungary so much today. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
really? Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious about like how are they viewed? Because I know they're going against, I know this is off topic here, but they're going against the other part of the EU and they're kind of like siding with Russia and stuff. But anyways,
Well,
that's
first of
pretty
all, you
cool.
have to tune into tvpworld.com to
Okay,
watch
okay.
and to watch us. And well, it was two-sided because they're having elections in April, and the prime minister is giving a little bit of a anti-Ukraine rhetoric, and the opposition guy, right, Magyar, how you say it properly, I'm not too
My
sure.
God.
Magyar, right?
Yeah.
He's now he said that apparently they're trying to compromise him with some video, you know, probably filmed or with some Russian, you know, interference, but this is what it is. You see, and this is Hélène talking about connections, and this is an interesting connection.
Yeah, I
Uh,
want to tune in. I want so TVPA. How do I get it from
It's in
here?
the
I'm
chat.
gonna
Oh, it's in the chat.
Yes,
Okay, I can get your live newscasts also.
yeah, we
tvpworld.com,
can
or
see
on
your,
YouTube, you just write TVP World Live, and you'll see me there in the poster that's there.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, 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 great. I will do that.
yes,
So
we'll be
you
watching.
are, Gus, you are with Total Casting? Are you with
Yes,
Louis?
yes, yes.
He got his
Hélène is,
first role not too long ago.
yeah, she helped me out quite a bit. I really love the show, as someone mentioned. I think Fred mentioned it. It's great. She's brought all kinds of very interesting people on. I try and attend every broadcast that she does, and it's very interesting meeting people like you who we would never meet, without having the show. So yeah, very happy to know Hélène and to work with her, and she's helped me a lot, and I hope she continues to help me.
Where did you get your role and what?
Just recently in something a YouTube production. but I used to do it a long time ago, back in the 90s also. And then I left. I did other things in business for many, many years. And now I'm
Mhm.
coming back to it.
He's
Uh,
back.
coming back.
And and that's the beauty of it. It's something that there's no age for this business. Like being on camera, there's no age for it. There's
Exactly.
absolutely no age for it.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm hoping, that obviously I'm older and a lot of maybe the roles are mostly for younger people, but there are roles for older people as well. So yeah.
Are they typecasting you already for the Russian mafia? Because I would typecast you as the Russian mafia already.
Well, he
And then
just
if I
got an
find out that
agent.
Yeah, there you go.
Just got
Maybe
a first agent, so he's
who's your
on his way.
agent?
this girl,
Pat.
I just cold called her actually. Kat, her name's Lara Sandy Depa, and she's really she's very, very energetic. She's already submitted my name for, 6 or 7 right away when I signed with her for 6 or 7 roles to audition, and we'll see.
Yes. Yes, it's a step by step, just like Diana did all her step by step. Look where she is now. And all of you listening and be there live as well. You're all doing a step by step. You're all growing. You're all getting there. I mean, Gus restarted. No, so he just did his photo shoot, and now he's got professional
Right, with
photos.
Hélène, yes.
He's got his first job. He's got an agent now. Like he's on his way, right? Same
You see,
thing,
you
Frank.
invest in yourself and you get things. That's
Yeah,
how it works.
Mhm.
That's how it
absolutely.
works.
Yeah,
Even Frank is taking my Formula One acting class that I have online with live coaching. And he's coming along well. He did his first commercials. He did in front of me also because I do coaching as well. So, right, Frank?
Yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm happy I did it. I don't want to take up too much of your time about this, but yeah, I a year ago I was all my life I've been watching commercials, and there was always this curiosity I had about these voices behind the commercials. Who the heck is talking, and where are they getting these people from, and all this kind of thing. And finally, I just made I don't remember how I did it, but I touched base with somebody who referred me to Hélène. And in August, this past August, I took a 1 day class, voice class, I think it is, Hélène. Is that what it was?
Right. You
Yeah,
took the voice class. We have another one coming up. Yes.
yeah. And I met this actor Tim from Ontario who was already involved in the business, and yet he was taking that 1 day class, so I felt good about that. And by the way, in that class there was a mother and son duo team there who came to take that class. The son was absolutely he just he was out there. It was unbelievable how good he was at making all these different voices and so imaginative. Anyway, it was a good class. And then Alain announced the Formula One. Basically, it's an introductory course. In my opinion, it's an introductory course which tells you everything in a very, and some things in a very detailed way, but in a very general way, tells you everything about all the tools that you need to take, that you need to learn, the the fact of how you should be behaving in a professional context, uh, lists of casting directors, of agencies, all sorts of things, what a breakdown is, what do you call that, Elaine, when you break up the different script in different
Yes.
beats?
Yes,
Beats?
the bees.
Yeah, the
Bravo.
beats. So you learn all of these things, all these tools, you pick up these tools, and the most important tools for a person who's learning the business, which is, of course, the resume, the headshots, and the demo. All of this you
A
learn.
demo. Even us in news, demo is everything.
Yeah,
A demo is everything.
Yes, it shows
yeah,
what you can do for
yeah.
sure. But everything is a step by step. And no, we're very proud of you, Frank. We're proud of everybody here actually attending. I mean, we all have our calling and we all do step by step. who knew I was going to do that show 30 years ago, right? So for me also, I wanted to create something and connect people. And what I do sometimes, I send out emails to invite people for some networking so people can do some networking. So I think even Frank, you received something today for a networking event.
Yes.
So everybody that takes the
That's next week.
Yes.
Next week.
So I think it's really important to network. As Diana was mentioning before, that's how she, even at the airport, that was amazing.
You have to do it.
To do
You feel like you're
sometimes
embarrassing yourself, but you have to do it. You have to do it because it's going to open up doors for you. And I do want to say, if anybody is ever going to come to this part of the world, I will be very happy to give you guys a tour of the studio, show you how this is done. Things are done in this part of the world. We also have a culture show. So maybe that could be more interesting for you guys instead of just breaking news. So yeah, I would gladly, if it's Poland, if it's just even on a stop layover of like 12 hours. I know a lot of flights go through layovers in Warsaw for 12 hours, 24 hours or whatnot. I'm very happy to meet and greet you guys and show you around, whether it's anywhere around here. I heard Hungary, Italy, all kinds. I'm very happy to share, to connect. And when I'm in Montreal, I was supposed to come to Montreal in January. Didn't happen. February didn't happen. I think maybe in April. And I'm looking at April. And if I do, I will, Hélène, this time most definitely come to see you. And I'd love to meet you all.
We'll do lunch when it's not as cold, for sure.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I
take
hear you
up
guys
at
had minus 27 and something. And
right.
thank God we don't.
Unbelievable. Crazy. It's crazy.
So we'll definitely, I may take you on that and go to Poland one of these days.
Yeah.
I may do that and come and visit because yes, you never know if and you're gonna end up being a host or maybe even a speaker eventually. Next
Polish
month I will
cinema
have
is
somebody.
big. Polish cinema is growing. Polish cinema is something right now also. So I'm definitely open to greet you guys here and yeah, and I'm also connected here now, particularly now also that I've signed my daughter up for these things. Again, the network just grew a little more, right, into commercials and into this
Yes.
though.
Yes, and I'm working on some other voice casting where I'm going to need some 10, 12-year-old kids in every language, from Hungary to German to Hebrew.
I can also connect you to an agent here. There's another agent here that works on the European version of casting workbook, right? It's a little bit. It's
Wonderful. Yes, absolutely. I'm
Mettez
probably
un courriel après puis vous connectez. I can absolutely do that
Yes,
on this
excellent.
end.
That's fantastic. Super duper.
See, this is how connections work. Hélène hasn't just so you all know, Hélène really hasn't changed one bit. I always remember with her long hair, the young, beautiful face, the long hair. It's like her image, right? You talk about names,
Branding.
branding, but we always talk about your image. Me, it's Hélène, it's your roux, tes cheveux roux, your long hair, and it's you.
Still, yep.
It's you.
It's
Correct.
We'll
Thank
do
you,
a little,
Diana.
Much appreciated.
thanks,
Thank you so
Diana.
much.
Thanks,
Thank
Hélène.
you.
Thank you
I'm
so
gonna
you guys
much.
give
soon.
5 minutes with some music if you guys need to copy anything in the chat. But have a wonderful day. Thank you again, Diana. We'll see you soon.
Hélène,
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Hélène.
again.
can we join in the French one this afternoon for
See you
about
at
half an
5.
hour? Is that okay?
See you later. Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Thank
Bye,
you.
Hélène. Merci.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
When you're dreaming of the screen or the stage and in between.